Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters in Christ. Today we are celebrating the fourth Sunday of Easter. And we all know that fourth Sunday of Easter, we dedicate this one for the Good Shepherd Sunday. And therefore, we invite everyone to please pray for the priestly and religious vocation. Today also, we are so blessed to have our brothers here from different parts of the world. So I think we give them a chance to introduce themselves.
My name is Min. I come from Vietnam, and this is the first year for me to be here at this community.
Good morning, my name is Hugo Facio. I'm from Mexico, and this is my second year to be here.
Hi, and I'm Miggy from Indonesia, fourth year theology student here in STHA.
Yours truly, I'm Brother Kenneth from the Philippines. I am now taking my third year theology.
Good morning, my name is Dexter Ignacio. I'm a Filipino, and I'm now my fourth year theology.
So now, the flow of our talk is that we are going to pick up some questions, and then we were going to answer. Okay.
So we have to close our eyes?
Yes.
Directly...
Close your eyes.
Oh, yes, sure.
So, can I ask Min to pick up
Go,
the
Min.
questions?
Min.
Can you read it?
I can see it start with how.
Why should a priest become a good shepherd?
Yes.
Wow.
So the question is all about good shepherd, how to shepherd the people. So, what do you think?
For me, I am thinking simply because the task or the ministry of the priest is not based on the title. For many people, they are thinking that to be a priest is to be high level than the lay people. But in my opinion, I am thinking that it's not like that. To be a priest is also doing the ministry, but at the same time also to shepherd the souls of the people as well. Because as you know that nowadays in some parishes or many places where the priests are working or doing their ministry, but the people keep on complaining why the priest is like that, like this. But what do you think in remote areas where there is no priest? What do you think of it? So I think that to be a priest is to do the ministry of God, and at the same time also to save the soul of people, to bring all the souls of people to God, which is also to do and to shepherd the souls of the people now here on earth and later on in heaven.
What about you, Brother Pasio?
Yes, I think that every priest, every person, every Catholic, Christian, they have a very strong responsibility with the people. No, I think that thinking in the time of Jesus, the shepherd was the responsible, of some animals that I'm sure that he could give the life it was necessary, So I think that the priest is the same, he has this responsibility with the people, accompany. He needs to protect the people, and even if it's necessary, to give the life for them the same.
What about you, Miggy?
Yeah, I would like to go with the idea of Bishop Barron, because for him, the priest is a mystery bearer. So they are good. They have to be good shepherd because they are imago Trinitatis, God's representatives in this world. So being a priest, they are not representing themselves. Of course, they have their limitations, as human limitation, weaknesses, we know. But in the grace of the priesthood that they receive themselves, they represent Christ in this world. And as we know that they teach, they administer, and most particularly they sanctify the souls, people who come to them in many areas, like most particularly in the sacraments that they offer to people. So I think it's very important for them to be to each priest in order to take the image of Christ, the way Christ thinks, the way Christ acts, and then apply it in their ministries to shepherd the people. Yeah, I think that's why they are called the shepherd for the people. God, good shepherd to the people.
On my part, I think in some parts of the world they don't know what the shepherd is.
Yes.
Never. For some, they might not have have seen a sheep other than in TVs or in books. So I wanted to break down the idea of good shepherd into a Christ-like leadership. I believe it's more of like how a pastor should be a servant to the people that he's accompanying. I believe that's more of the idea. Like in many places, those who take care of chicken, when they call out the chicken in a certain way or a special way, the chicken will come running. So I believe it's on the same page with the idea of the shepherd, that there should be a relationship, a relationship established. It's not just a one-way relationship, but a two-way relationship where the shepherd should know what's going on with the people, their strength, their faith, their talents and skills. At the same time, the people should also allow themselves to be known. At the same time, to know their priest, the weaknesses, the struggles, the priest, so that it becomes a more a loving relationship, where not just a one-sided relationship. Because no matter how good a priest is in doing his ministry, if the people are not willing to be led, or not willing to be accompanied to closer to God, it may become useless. So that's on that part.
Thank you very much for your sharing. And I think I will just also grab this opportunity to share about my idea about how should a priest be a good shepherd. And for me, my understanding of shepherding is that it begins with self-conversion. So it's somehow that you cannot make people transform into a good Christian if we, as a pastor, we do not show how should a shepherd must always look after the needs of the people, especially the spiritual needs. And I think the most important is we have to have our self-conversion in ourselves. Just like, for example, a priest gives a homily, but it does not correspond to the action. So somehow people are also discouraged simply because we are good in words, but in action, it does not show, or it does not manifest our good reflection. So for me, the most important is that be a good leader, at the same time be a good example when it comes to conversion. So thank you very much, and now we will proceed to the next question. So Brother Dexter, maybe you can
Give a comment on Mother Teresa's quotation. God has not called us to be successful, but He has called us to be faithful.
So gave a comment on Mother Teresa. She said that God has not called us to be successful, but rather He called us to be faithful. So what is the most important? To be successful or to be faithful? So who would like to give his answer?
Okay, for me, I think to be successful, is not something negative per se. Yeah. I mean, we can see, for example, a good couple successfully raise their children to be a good Catholic. I think we can see in two horizons. So if you raise the children to be a good Catholic and they successful in their lives, and also this couple being trusted in the community lives, in neighborhood, and maybe they gain trust by their boss in the office, and then they being entrusted to gain a good position. I think we can call it successful, but in a positive terms.
Mm-hmm.
Or a priest who motivate or animates or stand before people who are defending their rights, and then we can consider like they are successful. Like one example in East Timor, Bishop Bello, he won the Nobel Prize, and then for me it's successful, but in a positive way. But of course, successful, I think, what relating to the idea of Mother Teresa, maybe we need to think of like we forget about our main goal. We go astray, leading astray. Like a priest, maybe, for example, should assist the soul, give the good example, but instead of faithfully living his life as a priest in serving people, God's people, maybe they tend to gain popularity, or maybe put it in a small example, like maybe instead of serving people, he bought a new brand of car, or he's shifting. I mean, he's not faithful to what he looked for a popularity or successful life, which is negative, negative ones, but not the positive one. That's my thought about Mother Teresa's picture.
It seems that Min wants to share also his idea.
To me, I think that the word success itself has two different contexts. If we put in the context of the world, we cannot measure the standard of the world. How? Because successful, according to the context of the world, is somehow like to gain power, to gain knowledge, and at the same time also to be famous, to be more famous. But in the context of the church, is somehow like to consider the success in a meaning very humility, to be humble. So to me, I'm thinking that the sentence that was given by Mother Teresa is very deep meaning. So God calls us in order to be more faithful rather than to be successful. Why? The church itself needs also the faithful ones, not to be the successful ones. Because, like Brother Miki shared a while ago, that what for to become a priest and then to just to gain knowledge, and at the same time also to successful in the to gain popularity. But the point here is that to be able to live the vows and to suffer the people with all his humility, and also to be humble of the service in order to gain more faithful rather than to live in a successful life.
I totally agree with my brothers, especially with Brother Miki. I would like to add only something. So I believe that successful is very important word in our life, because I think that sometimes this is our target, our point of reference in our life. So, but I think that I was thinking, with the reflection of my brothers, that sometimes successful is to think, I have already all the things that I dream, that I want, so okay, that's it. No need to do anymore. So I have, for example, if we put this word in the context of our church, our everyday, so I'm giving to the poor, so already don't need to do more. I'm successful, I'm full already, But I think that faithful is to little more humbly to say, no, I can do a little more. I can have other commitment, no? So it's not, so I think that sometimes it's not important how much I am doing. You know, the most important is why I'm doing that. Is my commitment is because I feel happy to do that. Is because I see the face of God doing that, or because only I need to feel my something only about me, but not about the other person. No. So for this reason, I believe that these two words are important, good, but faithful is a little more, no, commitment. Like you need to have a little more the effort in your life.
What about again, Dex?
For me, I guess I totally agree with the brothers. On my part, I believe faithfulness has more weight in terms of its meaning and its depthness, because you can be successful without being faithful in other things. But in our life as Christians, as followers of Jesus, there is so much. There is emphasis on call of faithfulness, because there is only one way to be with Jesus. But there's no such thing as to be successfully, because nobody, I believe, has arrived at that point. But faithfully following His call, His teachings, His commands, I guess we could say we could attain success in that sense, that we become faithful in the small things that we do in our daily lives. We can be faithful. I said, I agree. Like, there's more of a commitment. Not even though things may seem meaningless, may seem so difficult, but once we focus on what we do, and we really put our heart. I believe the idea is success is more of like what we can take, what we can attain. But the idea of faithfulness is how we offer ourselves in doing what we do, how much heart we put into it, so that it becomes a better thing. We become closer to Jesus, and at the end we just realize that in the act of self-emptying, we actually nourish ourselves and transform ourselves along the way.
Yeah, that's right. So your sharing is indeed very enriching, and for me, in my own opinion, commenting on this quotation from Mother Teresa, I could say that success is good when this success is being shared to people, when it is being put in the benefits of people, not just by myself, but also with people or for the people. And I think the most important in giving success, or nourishing our success, or establishing our success, is to really offer to our brothers and sisters who are in need. But the tendency is that when people are in this peak of success, the tendency is they are being dazzled by this temptation of not thinking of others, but rather thinking of himself. So I think that the challenge there is, how can we be faithful in our mission without being dazzled by success that we have? There are many people who are working in the field, but they see already the improvement, they see already the success, that their mission is being fulfilled. But the tendency, people will say that they're getting their head is getting bigger, and therefore the tendency is to brag himself. So there's no more of faithfulness to the commitment, but rather putting himself in order to put his own name in the pedestal. So people will worship him, or will adore him, or whatever is that. So I think the most challenge here is to be more faithful whatever task that is given to you. I think faithfulness also implies so much of happiness, because not all the success that we get makes us happy. So I think that is the demarcation when it comes to faithfulness and balancing what success in life. So thank you very much. Now we ask brother.
I know.
It's very long. I can see the question.
How's your relationship with Mama Mary?
Oh, it's very appropriate.
Very appropriate.
Very appropriate.
See, we have
Okay, so
So the question is, how is your relationship with Mama Mary?
okay, so I would like to start. So honestly, my relation with Mama Mary is poor. Why? Because during my life I didn't have this image of Mama Mary in my family, in my house. So I grew up, but I never had this experience of Mama Mary. I remember that I knew her because of the music.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I was singing one Mama Mary song in the very beautiful note, but for me the meaning of Mama Mary
Mhm.
was in the music,
In the music.
but not in our relation, no,
Mhm.
in our relation. But in during my process, during my time of formation, I could see many brothers, no, that they have very strong relation with Mama Mary, and they have helped me to improve it, no.
Mhm.
Because sometimes some of them, no, during my novitiate, they knew that. So some of them, okay, let us pray together, because they knew that if I was alone,
Mhm.
I prefer to read or to do other things, no. But honestly, to pray the rosary by my own, no. So sometimes, no, let us pray together. Or okay, today let us pray in other language, no, or something of motivation. So during that time, now in this moment of my life, I think that Mama Mary has a special place in my life, but it's not only about devotions
Mhm.
or about rosary. So for example, I like to prepare my Lectio Divina almost every day. So Mama Mary is at the final of my Lectio Divina. Every day I try to say, Mama Mary, I put my day in your hands. I put my community, I put my vocations. Please help me to improve, help me to grow, help me to be better, no?
Mhm.
So I think that this is very humble prayer, but for me this is very important, no? So I prefer sometimes to do some kind of this prayer than to say, okay, let us pray rosary together. So now I'm improving a lot, no, because of the situation. So we are praying every day here, the rosary. So it's kind of motivation, the same, no, with our neighbors. But if, honestly, believe me, if I am alone, I am not going to pray, no, the rosary, no. I'm going to do other thing, referring to Mama Mary, but no especially that. But it's good, my relation, no?
Just a reminder, the reason why that we put this question simply because we all know that the month of May is dedicated to the Holy Rosary, and therefore we ask our brothers how their faith being nourished through the intercession and through the help of our Mother Mary. So that's why we pick these questions. So brother?
To me, when we mention about the relationship, I'm thinking about that word itself is somehow like related to the word devotion. I would prefer to mention or to talk or to discuss about the word devotions as well. Of course, when we mention about the relationship or devotion, how much more? To me, I think that the church is also dedicated this man, this special man, to pray to Mama Mary. Live in the seminary, I experienced that to measure, it's difficult to measure the how much devotion for me to Mama Mary. But the simple way for me is to spend time to pray the rosary. In praying the rosary is not simply because for myself, but to pray also for the needs of others. Like for example, sometimes I pray for my family members and friends. There was a time, a case that through the intercession of Mama Mary and one of my neighbors was rescued from the prison from Thailand. That was also the great devotion to me in order to think of how important it is to pray the rosary. Here in the community, we pray rosary oftenly. This could be also the good chance, a good time for me to imitate and to think it as an opportunity in order to nourish myself, my vocation, and to ask Mama Mary to guide me in the way to God's will.
In my case, while my brother was speaking about the experience, I recall my past experience, and I see the first prayer that I know. I uttered was Hail Mary, together with Glory Be, in my childhood. So, meaning to say, this relationship between Mama Mary and myself has been built, long time ago. And up to this moment, I always sense that I feel more closer to God through Mama Mary. Yeah, there are many experiences I had with Mama Mary, which I can say many miracles happen through her. For example, like I had bad relationship between myself and my family in East Timor, most particularly my auntie. And through my devotion and my plea to God through Mama Mary, and we came to reconciliation. Not only between myself and my auntie, but whole family. And also in the community life, sometimes I felt really drowned or have problem with some brothers. Through Mama Mary, I felt peace, and then later on I can come up and then be good again to this brother. And some other experiences, like people ask for prayers, and then for a certain intention, and I presented it through Mama Mary, and they called me back and said that thank you very much, and the prayer heard. It was heard and then fulfilled, and it was through Mama Mary. But the closest experience that I can relate to Mama Mary is my very experience of being refugee from East Timor. Yeah, the flight to Egypt experienced by Mama Mary and her small family, Saint Joseph and Jesus, was very much consoling to me. Because I find myself there. Because it was unjust situation that forced them to flee to Egypt, because Herod wanted to kill the children and like something like. And in my case, from East Timor we fly because of injustice, reality, the different political issues there, and after that we become victim. And I always find consolation relating my experience to Mama Mary. So, in short, I love Mama Mary so much. Thank you.
My part, I remember I started to listen to hear about Mama Mary with my grandma. Whenever we stay over at their house, she would get up at 4 o'clock every morning to pray and kneel down. And since we always sleep with them, she would wake us up to join the rosary. And that's what I don't like before. That's why I don't like anymore to sleep in their house, because they have to get up at 4 o'clock. And I could really see the devotion, the old way of praying the rosary in a chant way. It's so good. And then I got more exposed with our place. We have the rosary month. We go house to house, and that was a time that I really learned how to recite the rosary, to pray the rosary. And I did it only for snacks in the beginning. It was more beautiful, and I find the meaning. And I believe that I am always accompanied by Mama Mary. Our patron in our chapel is under the patronage of Immaculata Concepcion, and our diocese is under Immaculata. Our parish is under Carmen, and I believe it's a way of telling me that I'm with you always. Unfortunately, on my part, many times I failed to pray the rosary. I always say to it that before I go to sleep, I really pray just even a Hail Mary to thank her for the guidance and for the accompaniment that she gives me throughout the day. I may not be faithful, but I believe my relationship with her is I feel her that she's somebody who can easily run to. When I have so much in my heart, she's just there willing to listen, to accompany, to be with me, and I believe that's the most beautiful part with her. She's always making herself available to listen. Yeah.
So I think there's no doubt that I have a very nice and deep relationship with Mary. So as what I've shared in the community, that I grew up with the Legion of Mary. So I think the Legion of Mary has given me opportunity to really deepen my own understanding or relationship with Mary, and also deepen my relationship to her son Jesus. And I'm very happy with that experience. But of course, there are some experience that very funny, as what Dexter said also, that about food. No, so I'm not shy to share with this one, because it happened that the first day of month of Rosary, so first day, because we were told that some houses are going to share their food. So during the first day, many many were frustrated simply because there was no merienda being offered. So in the following day, I was the leader, and then we are about to end. So we were already praying the Hail Holy Queen. So in the middle of Hail Holy Queen, see, I am now laughing. So I heard the sounds of the glasses and all these plates, no? So instead of praying, what happened is that I'm thinking, maybe this one is already food, and sure enough, it was food. So, but during the prayer, I was really laughing, and then I good enough that my companions, they continue praying while I was laughing. But at the end, they asked me, and I told them that, jokingly, I said that I have cramps, and therefore I cannot hold my laughter to really do it fun. So anyway, so I think my journey with Mother Mary is really very deep. So when I feel down, I usually go to her. I think this maybe because I'm also close with my mother, and here in the seminary we don't have mother. So the only mother that we have is only Mother Mary. So she is only my refuge when I feel really down. When even the time that I was doubting my vocation. There are many times, especially in philosophy, that I wanted to go out simply because of many problems, and I cannot anymore handle. So through the intercession, I do believe that she is really helping me a lot when it comes to uplift my dryness in terms of prayer, my vocation, and even my personal commitment to my vocation. I'm very thankful to Our Lady. So when they are asking what kind of Mary do you like, so I think there's no such specific Mary that I like or the title, but Mary herself. So that's it.
I think maybe
Do you have? Okay. Huh?
the question I just pick up is, how's your vocation journey?
See? So after Marian devotion, now we are going to talk about our vocational journey. And I think each one of us here are doing different stage of formation, different levels. So we are going to share our own experience.
Actually, to think of this question is a long share in order to understand one's vocation. But today I will be focusing on the 3 points. The first one is the happiness, second one is freedom, and the third one is about the right motivation, which are very important
Yes.
in one's vocation. Yeah, like many other vocations, if you are unhappy, soon or later it will destroy your business or relationship. The same here in the vocation of the priesthood is also to emphasize the importance of happiness. I'm here. By now it has been only 7 or 8 years inside the seminary. I have come to discover that the only happiness that I have is to enjoy. What does it mean to enjoy? It doesn't mean that to enjoy the food or to enjoy the activities inside the seminary, but to enjoy vocation. To enjoy is simply because to feel happiness. And of course, when someone is unhappy, doing things is simply because very heavy, and the activities becomes a burden. But when a person is happy, everything will be followed. For example, the freedom will be followed. For example, if a priest is going to perform something or doing his ministry, but as long as he is happy, so the freedom will follow. He is aware of the presence of God, doing the things not because of himself, but because of their love for God. So from the happy leads to the right motivation. Why? Because there are many things in the world that we can achieve, but the only thing that to be able to stay peaceful in oneself is very important, because when we feel peaceful, it's this the time for us to stay there, stay in the relationship with God, do the things not because for the, like we discussed a while ago, that not because of successful, but to be faithful and to be able to discover the right motivation. Why, what for, and why I'm staying here, not other place. It's simply because I feel happy. To compare with the other vocation like marriage, like to be a teacher, to be a doctor, but I feel this is the place that I feel happy. Therefore, I stay here and I continue to feel it in my vocation.
For me, I started 2009. I started 2009 in our formation house in Los Angeles. For me, it was interesting because when I knew the congregation, I didn't want to be priest. I didn't want to be brother, no. But I was migrant in USA, so I knew the congregation, and I said, I'm going to work for the migrants. So I was thinking in this project, no. When I came to USA, someone was working for me, was helping me. I'm going to do that. I want to do that. So I put this one in my mind. So I started my process, but little by little, no, my motivations were changed, no, inside in the seminary, no. When I saw that it's not only social work, but it's spiritual, it's something community, it's something human. So for me it was complicated the first years, no, because I had a lot of problems in my life, like many of you. But for me, I think that was complicated because I didn't want to accept it. So I went to USA, I was migrant there, I was working, and I forgot all my past. I wanted I wanted to forget all my past. So it was my problem, no, that in my formation I put a new life of Hugo Facio, and this is the new family of Hugo Facio. But I didn't know that all my problems later will come out again, no? So especially with the authority, no? When somebody was telling me something strong, I said, why? I cannot be. So I started fighting or something like that, no? So for this reason, I had good formators, and these formators told me, okay, you can continue because I can see that you have vocation, but you need to go to the psychology. So I thought, why psychology? I am not crazy, no? He said, it's not because you are crazy, it's because we want to help you. And if you love your vocation, so you need to do a process. You need to walk into your life. You need to accept. So for this reason, no, for me it was a very strong process because for this reason I didn't have a good relation with Mama Mary because I had a lot of problems in my house, especially with my mom. So for this reason, no, my connection with Mama Mary, it was so difficult, no. So I cannot. So for this reason, no, I was there. I did a process for 3-4 years, and after that, during my novitiate, I think that for me it was very important in significant moment of my life because my novice master helped me to, or accompany to close this process, no, to accept and to close. And after that, no, during, I, believe me, now after all this experience, I can say that now I want to work for the migrants, but I want to do something more, no? So now I want to take this step and to say, okay, God, I know that with my life you can do many things. So during all my experience in mission time, so I could see the necessity of the people. So now I want to do that, but now not because I have a trauma or something like that. No.
Yes.
Now because I saw the necessity, and now I think that I could close one part of my life, and now I have the maturity to say yes, Lord. So it was more or less my professional journey.
How about you?
Okay, in my part, yeah, like in Gaudete and Exultate, the document of Pope Francis, stated that we have to be joyful. Either you are called to a marriage life, you have to be joyful, be happy. Either you call to a single blessed life, you have to be joyful, rejoice. And the same, if you are called to be a consecrated person, you have to be joyful. When I look back to my experience, 13 years journeying this path of life, this vocational journey, I see this spirit of joyful. Somehow I did not really recognize at first, but it's the one that really keep me faithful to this calling of God. Keep me to constantly answer to His call. Yes, constant yes. I mean, despite all the challenges and difficulties we have. And to be joyful here, it's of course, and I reflect on this word, it's not only like, okay, you are going to laugh every day and then, okay, go and party, no. But the joyful experience that I encounter in this life is truly the personal dialogue with God. Aside from the community prayer life, prayer schedule we have, we need to have our own time in order to be alone with God. And for me, I'm convinced that in that moment, God reveals to you many mysteries that you cannot find it in your studies. And I really deeply convinced. I think it's happened also, no? Can be applied also to marriage life. when there is no more dialogue, conversation built between these two couples, I think sooner or later their marriage might still continue, but inside maybe there is no longer peace between them, and I think their marriage can be easily destroyed. And I believe this also can happen to us in our journey. There are many ups and downs, but of course we need to be faithful to our promise that we give to God. Yes, we have to be rejoice, joyful. Yes.
On my part, how's my vocational journey? So far, at the moment, I am really full of gratitude, as I've shared yesterday. Gratitude for all. First, it was gratitude that brought me here, and I believe it's also the heart full of gratitude that keeps me going. Reminds me of my beginnings, my humble beginnings, for all the blessings. I have I've come from children of W. My father used to work abroad, and he left the religion, Catholic faith, and that was really also a turning point in my vocational journey. I experienced questioning God, questioning my faith, coupled with the questions of philosophy, which really brought me to how to say a very low moment in my vocational journey. But it was wonderful because I've seen a different side of me. I seen that there was a longing to me to go deeper, and my heart this time is just filled with gratitude, because really we don't. It's not that vocation. It's not that just I want it, but it's something that is given to me. I believe, and it's grace, and there's just no need to be parang there's no need anymore to say why we wanted to become a priest. It's just because I have felt so much love. I have felt so much accompanied by God that I wanted to share that others feel love. I believe that I have this thought that if my father was just with somebody who is faithful in the faith, or he just felt the presence of God, he would not have be tempted to go to other people or so parang I have that longing that I wanted to be that person who especially in the moments of loneliness, crisis of the migrants, I wanted to be there with them. So I have that as a personal mission, as a personal and gratefulness brings a lot of things, joy, as our brother Miggy said, and also in moments of difficulties, the attitude of gratefulness just simply makes me think the best effect of it, which even though it's so negative, it helps me focus on the positive side. There's always a positive side in everything that happens in our life, in my life. So I try to focus on that.
So my vocation story is, what can I define is that my vocation story it involves of good and bad. It involves falling and also rising, and it involves also breaking and also fixing. So I think this is the experience of my vocation. I will be celebrating my 11 years here in the seminary this coming May 29. So it has been 11 years, so I'm already old. So why did I say that my vocation is good and bad? Simply because I encounter so many things, good and bad, but I never regret all those things that I experience. As what they said, that vocation is not only the joy that we experience, there are moments also that we are sad, we are very down, but we did not stop there. Perhaps we fall, but there's also a moment that we have to rise. And I think through the help of our source, who is Jesus, I am very thankful for His unrelenting support and guidance in order to continue my journey. And vocation as a breaking and fixing, simply because I'm not a person who is very perfect, but rather I am a person who is I am broken person that needs to be fixed. There are personalities that are not healthy to my own vocation, and also to the way of living here in the community, and therefore I need to stop. I need to break that kind of comfort zone of myself, and I need to fix it. And it's very painful, but it is worth fulfilling to see myself that I improve. And through that process of rising and falling, fixing and breaking and fixing, I learned many things, and therefore I am a person who is very grateful of what I have experienced. And thank you very much for your sharing, brothers. And we will grab this opportunity also, especially those who are watching there at home. I think we have to give a short message to all of them, especially those who are affected by this pandemic. No, so it affects so much to those people. So I think you have a message. Do you have any message or?
Yes, Brother Dexter has a
Well,
message.
I believe it could be a good question also. What are the things that you are grateful of at this moment?
Right.
Do you value them, or does this pandemic help you realize that there is so much that you have and you just take them for granted? Or maybe also you can begin to treasure the things that you have. As the saying says, happiness is not about having what you want. It's more of wanting what you have. So I believe it's also a good idea to start counting our blessings and be thankful to God about those things. And also, for sure, it's also a moment, the best moment, to deepen our relationship with God and to express our gratitude, our love for all the things that He has given us.
Okay.
From my part, very short, in this time of pandemic, remember the statement mentioned by Father Pio. The most beautiful credo is the one that we pronounce in our hour of darkness, in the hour of difficulty, in the times of difficulties we face. So it's the best time, the beautiful time to pray, to meditate, and to find time with God. I think that's my message. Quoting the words of Saint Padre Pio.
For me, I think that this is a time of suffering, many difficulties, but I believe that this is a time of reflection for all of us. So I would like to invite you to think in all these kind of things that we had and we didn't know. Sometimes it's our relationships, sometimes it's material things that we didn't notice, but now we don't have it and we miss it, no? So I think that this is a very good moment of reflection, and I would like to invite you, all of us the same, to put attention on all of that, and we try to do our best when the things we get better.
To me, to give a very simple and concrete message is that during this time of pandemic, many people are asking the same question: why God allows this virus or this crisis happen during this year? It makes me to remember one of the statement that Pope Francis still keep on sending to us, is that being a faithful Christian is at the same time also to be able to stay in the crisis and to keep on praying. So, yeah, in order to know a person faithfulness through the crisis, this is the time for each and every one of us to show our love, show our devotion to the faith that we are living in. So, to stay in your arm and to pray, to make a simple prayer a day, even a word, a sentence. It could be also to unite with the church in overcoming the difficulties at this moment.
I would like to invite everyone, those who are now in time of anxiety, that they should not have this kind of mentality that it's lockdown and therefore we are incapacitated to do things. So, but not everything is being locked down. Just like, for example, I read in an article that even in the family, so now that you gather together, it's not locked down to talk. You perhaps some of you are using TikTok. Now you use real talk. I think it's the most important. The real talk with your family. Spend time with your family. And also this is also an opportunity to create things, no? To create things in your family, to have bonding, to do gardening or whatever that makes you feel really happy together with your family. And I think this is an opportunity to really establish this kind of real talk instead of TikTok. Thank you very much for watching. Jesus loves you and Mama Mary loves you. Thank you.
God bless.
So,